Hey everybody, Jake here. Welcome back to Movie Smoothie, where today, no, we may not be talking about movies, but we are talking about some beloved animated shows, that being Rick and Morty, heading back to Adult Swim real soon with a brand new release date via Deadline. I can't wait to get into this, but first, if you guys could like this video and subscribe to Movie Smoothie, I would greatly appreciate that. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be pretty dang sick. So, Rick and Morty has just been announced for a Season 6. The two-time Emmy-winning animated comedy series will premiere globally and across the multiverse on Adult Swim on Sunday, September 4th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. This is super exciting for me. My birthday is in September, so it's kind of like a little a 20-day early gift for Jake. Not really. That sounds just really selfish after saying it out loud. Thought it would be a funny joke, but now I'm just like, wow, that sounds like they just made this season of television for me, and now I just kind of sound like a jerk. But Michael Owaleen, who I hope to God I'm pronouncing that correctly, the president of Adult Swim and Cartoon Network, has said it's hard to overstate the impact of Rick and Morty. More than a hit show, it is truly a global phenomenon. As we prepare to launch this soon-to-be iconic season, we will be giving fans a unique way to be part of the fun. So keep your eyes peeled. Interesting stuff there from Michael. Maybe giving us some like really cool marketing or something that he's teasing, I'm guessing. I'm very excited for this season regardless, whatever they do. Once again coming out September 4th on a Sunday, which I've always felt like is kind of strange. Why do they premiere things at like the very worst time, especially things like Rick and Morty, which is like so popular? Why late at night on a Sunday? That just seems like dead air, you know what I mean? That just seems like the worst time to premiere literally anything. People got to work on Monday, at least most people, you know? So I've always just kind of found that weird. Another thing that's included in this Deadline article that I'm using, which is really interesting, is that Rick and Morty was the top comedy across all US cable in 2017, 2019, and 2021. Lifetime to date, Rick and Morty has been viewed over 10 billion times globally, so that's more than like every single person on the planet, across linear, digital, and streaming according to Adult Swim. So obviously they're gonna keep this thing running for a long time. If you remember from a while back, I believe this was after Season 3, they announced that Rick and Morty was going to be renewed all the way through Season 10, which is insane. So we still have 4 more seasons after this one, which is nuts. I mean, that's just so exciting. And I gotta be honest, I think Season 4 was a bit of a dip for me personally. I didn't love it. It seems like Dan Harmon was just running the show opposed to Justin Roiland, who I've always loved when their flavors come together. They're both people who I feel like are extremities in certain directions, but when they come together, it's like they mellow out and it's just the right amount of both of them. But with Rick and Morty Season 4, it felt like Dan Harmon was kind of taking over the show, and it's understandable. Justin Roiland was starting his other animated series, which I'm going to be talking about later today, Solar Opposites, which just had its 3rd season come out on Hulu, which I really very much so enjoyed. Can't wait to talk about that. But I think that's what was going on. That's just kind of my conspiracy tinfoil hat brain talking with that. That would just be my guess, because it felt more Dan Harmon existential humor opposed to Justin Roiland's like filthy garbage mouth kind of humor. And that's not a diss towards Mr. Justin Roiland. The guy can literally talk about anything, and I'm just cracking up. I love the way he does his banter too. For some people, it's kind of like, oh, he's just using vocal crutches over and over again, and that's funny. But yeah, that's really funny, and the way he does it, especially in that silly like, oh boy, oh geez kind of voice, is like I could listen to him do that all day, and it just cracks me up. Something about it just hits different, man. And on top of that, you have these super genius, really thought out sci-fi plots for each of these episodes. Like, I just have always appreciated this show for going above and beyond, not only plot-wise, but with their jokes. Like, it's really funny, intelligent stuff. I know that's a meme where it's like, oh yeah, only smart people can understand Rick and Morty. Obviously, that's a little ridiculous, but I have always appreciated their attention to detail when it comes to these intricate sci-fi plots that are handled so well, surprisingly, and it's always just a really good time watching the show. Very fun. I can't wait for Season 6, once again coming out September 4th at 11 p.m., which I just still think is weird. If you have no idea what the heck Rick and Morty is and you're trying to get into it, the half-hour comedy series on Adult Swim follows a sociopathic genius scientist who drags his inherently timid grandson on insanely dangerous adventures across the universe. That is Rick Sanchez. He is living with his daughter, Beth and her family, and constantly bringing his son-in-law, Jerry, granddaughter Summer and grandson Morty into intergalactic escapades. Rick and Morty stars Justin Roiland, Sarah Chalke, Chris Parnell, and Spencer Grammer. The series is created by Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, who also serve as executive producers. Really interesting fact about Rick and Morty, if you don't know, Justin Roiland voices both of the titular characters, something the studio was very against at first, but it clearly works today. Their banter back and forth is easily my favorite part of the entire show, something that I felt like has been lost in the later seasons. I do feel like Rick is portrayed a little differently across all the seasons. He gets a little, like, more depressed, which I feel like is, yes, more realistic, but in a way, kind of less enjoyable to watch, which I know is maybe not a fair thing to say, but what's interesting about his character is he starts off as this goofy, like, I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want scientist, and they built his character into a much more real version of who Rick Sanchez would be if he knew everything and could do whatever he wants. He's gotten bored of it in a sense, and in a way, it makes me almost feel like I'm sort of starting to get bored with the character. I really think season 6 is going to be going to be telling as to what they do with him at this point. Where we left off in season 5 is a massive spoiler, so I don't want to spoil that for anybody, but it was a big old nasty cliffhanger. So depending what they do with the character next, I'm excited, but I'm also kind of worried. I'm also kind of like, I hope they revert back to a Rick who's a little more easygoing, a little more fun. He's maybe been a little more mean in the last 2 seasons, especially towards Morty, and I liked how in the first 3 seasons it was almost like they were kind of joking around a bit. There was like, yes, there was some mean stuff that would happen between them, especially coming from Rick's part, but it would always resolve in some kind of really nice, like, oh, but I'm still your grandpa, I still love you. You know what I mean? It was still like, it was still a positive relationship. Now I feel like both of the characters are kind of changing a little bit, and obviously you can't keep characters exactly the same, or this is just going to turn into like The Simpsons again or something. So I do appreciate that. There's a lot of great character development. It's very well written, but I do long for the relationships from the early seasons a little more. I think that's the one thing that's been missing from these later seasons. Even though season 5 was possibly one of my all-time favorite seasons, I think it's up there with seasons 1 and 2. It's really well done, very consistent all the way through, where seasons 3 and 4 I do feel like have their off episodes. But man, I'm really enjoying Rick and Morty regardless. I am, like I said, longing for something familiar with seasons 1 and 2, but I'm gonna take whatever the heck we get this time around. It's always fun one way or the other, no matter what my preference is. But what do you guys think? Leave me something down below about Rick and Morty season 6. Are you guys excited? Are you guys nervous? How do you feel about like all the renewal stuff with Rick and Morty going on for 10 seasons? How do you feel about that? Do you think they'll make it to 100 seasons like Rick predicted? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video on Movie Smoothie. Make sure to subscribe to this page, my main page actually, Killjoy Jake, where I mostly focus on horror movie updates. That's pretty sick. And then I also have a page where I talk about sports news called Half Baked Media. So make sure to subscribe to all those pages. I would greatly appreciate all the support. Make sure to have a smoothie with your movie. I think that's what's going to be my tagline. Thank you, Carrie, if you're watching this. Peace out, y'all.